Somali President Mohamed Farmaajo has penned an editorial in the publication Foreign Policy. In it, he seeks to change the narrative of the nation's current political crisis. Farmajo paints himself as the champion of one-person, one-vote elections. And the president says his opponents have insisted on an indirect system, making sure that clan elders retain power. At the core of the disagreement is a conflict between my government's goal of universal suffrage through direct elections and those who insist on an indirect election model that empowers elites and denies ordinary citizens a vote. The editorial takes readers through the twists and turns that have occurred since 2017. He claims there was a deal for universal suffrage polling in February of 2018, but that all 5 member states pulled out of their agreement. Surrendering to a compromise to hold indirect elections last September, Farmajo blames a lack of trust from all sides. I accepted the September 2020 agreement, which was finalized by a panel of technical experts representing the federal government and its member states. It was a dramatic shift from the goal of universal suffrage to return to a clan-based model simply to accommodate the continuously shifting views and needs of the federal member states. Farmajo claims the implementation of this agreement broke down after the leaders of Puntland and Jubaland visited the United Arab Emirates and Kenya. He paints as heroic his attempt to reestablish a commitment to universal suffrage through a term extension passed by the legislature. The president laments criticism from international partners, singling out the United Nations, European Union, United Kingdom, and the United States. In fact, this was a perfect opportunity to end the clan model's monopoly over Somalia's political future. Yet again, the federal government compromised after the outbreak of violence instigated by members of the opposition. For now, Farmajo looks ahead to the new negotiations that Prime Minister Mohamed Roble is due to chair Thursday. While putting on a positive face about the ability to reach a consensus this time, he regrets the system Somalia has in place. Unfortunately, the political fragility of Somalia at present defies the established practical and healthy democratic tradition of majority rule, due to the demands for total unanimity. Securing electoral consensus in Somalia means convincing absolutely all stakeholders all the time and on all issues. He also sends a message to those who still view outside mediation as viable. It is evident that the top-down state-building process is not delivering universal suffrage for the people. In the future, more bottom-up approaches must be encouraged and supported. However, we are determined that our democratic transitions will always be Somali-owned and Somali-led. Analysts see Farmajo trying to make the best of a weak hand, but many also see the details of a potential agreement being the deciding factor of who will lead Somalia for the next term.
The problem with this indirect election in Somalia is that basically, almost the election plays out even before you get to it, because it's about, determining how each of these steps is implemented. Basically, does it benefit one side or the other? Because there's a little bit of a leeway there and a wide space for manipulation. And so I think right now what's happened is the parties and the governments tried to implement September 17th in a way that really benefits them quite strongly. And that's where you've had the dispute over the Somaliland seats, over the ghetto seats, and over the composition of the Electoral Commission.
Reactions to Farmajo's editorial have flooded the social media space. ADN TV will continue to post updates as Somalia's election negotiations resume.